there, my fellow Wedding Florist friends, and welcome to the Wedding Florist Social Podcast. This is the podcast for wedding florists to learn all about acing their online presence. I'm your host, Vicky Laffey, and as a wedding florist of over 10 years now and a certified digital marketer, I want to help you get the right clients, get more followers, and never be stuck for content ideas again. Click the link in my description to get your free Wedding Florist Guide to Social Media Content Creation today. Well, hello, you guys. Thank you, my fellow florists. Thank you so much for joining me again for another episode of Wedding Florist Social. Now, today's podcast is about making the leap into floristry. I know some of you are very experienced florists already, but I notice a lot of you are, a lot of my followers and on my Facebook group and Instagram, etc. A lot of you are in a position at the minute, a very exciting and nervous one, by the way, where you kind of work a day job. You're just making your leap into the business of floristry, really, and you're perhaps working a day job wherever that might be, and you study floristry, maybe even do it part-time or as a side hustle, and you're trying to build your business up to a point that where you can leave your day job and go self-employed full-time. You're waiting for this kind of magical moment where you reach this point and you're looking at your diary and you can say, right, okay, I've hit that point and I'm going to hand my notice in at work as of next month, and I'll have enough money to keep me going and match what I got paid in my job. Now, is that sounding familiar to anyone? Can anyone relate to that? I think a lot of people who follow me definitely can relate to that, because I see this all the time on Facebook groups as well. People who are just making that leap, and is that they're waiting for this magical moment. They seem to think is going to happen. Well, I'm here today to tell you that it's not that simple. I'm not trying to discourage you there at all, but I just think whilst I have every faith that you will absolutely get there and become the wedding florist that you want to be, it's just unlikely to happen in such a smooth transition, as it were. Just to give you a little bit about my background for anyone who hasn't listened before and doesn't really know me. So I made my transition into floristry back in 2011. Actually, I started it back in 2010. I started my training and things like that while I still worked at my job. Now, I went from banking, the IT department of a major bank, to floristry. So it was quite a leap. And I just reached a point where I desperately needed to do something else. So I started retraining, ran my business for 6 months or so whilst I was still working at my job. And I was lucky enough to get some redundancy to leave with, because this was in the wake of the financial crash as well. So I started a business in the midst of redundancy and recession, really, which a lot of people thought I was absolutely mad. But that sort of helped me to get along. But I know an awful lot of people have this point of that they want to reach, where they're like, well, I need to build the business up, and I'm going to work in this business, in my job, until such time as the business is built up and I can leave, the job, the day job, as it were. So, it's kind of what I did, but I was lucky enough to get redundancy. But I see this an awful lot with you guys. So I wanted to do the podcast on this. Firstly, I would say if you have a job, you're not going to be able to work on your business as much as you need to. So, I just wanted to sort of make a couple of points about this, give you guys some who are going through this at the moment some pointers. So if you have a job, you're not going to be able to work on your business as much as you need to, in terms of kind of drumming it up, drumming up new business and working on your website and your socials and attending wedding fairs, making orders, dealing with clients, all the stuff that's involved in running a business. So that in itself is stopping you from reaching your potential and reaching that point where you have enough business to leave that day job. Or at least it's going to slow you down. anyway. There's also your mindset. If you're working in a day job, whatever that might be, in my case it was IT, then you're not going to be in the right zone that you need to be in order to build your business, because your headspace is literally just taken up with other things. So something has to give at some point, basically. You either get wrong at your job because you're constantly trying to work on your business and not doing your work, or your business doesn't do as well as it should, takes a long time to get there, etc., because you're not able to physically think about wedding floristry and doing all the stuff that needs to be done in order to build the business to get to that level that you need to in order to leave your job. So it's very catch-22, really. Secondly, I think a lot of people, they kind of expect that they'll learn the same money they did in their job, and they will be able to kind of make that leap without any dip in income. And I just don't think that's necessarily the case. It's not very realistic. It takes time and effort to build this business and then build it to a level where you're making good money as well. And sometimes that takes years. From what I've seen, it just doesn't work like that. Not just in my own business, but from seeing other florists go through this. I've seen some business owners, that they don't take a wage at all for the first year. With weddings, there's also that delay because we book things in advance. So, you perhaps get a deposit and then you don't get your actual money for the work till the next year. Although I suppose, in certain ways that could be worked to our advantage because you know roughly sort of what level of business you can expect next year. And then perhaps know you can sort of take that leap, as it were. But, it's just unlikely to happen, and in the way that you expect anyway, and something's got to give. It takes guts to make that leap. And I know that I made that leap myself. I'm not just sitting up here on a pedestal and telling you all what to do and making stuff up. I've been there. I've done that. I've made this leap. And I think as an employed person, your mindset just isn't the same as a self-employed person. When you're employed, you're in the safe zone where you know what you're going to get paid every month, and where you're told what to do and when to do it and what the rules are, and you're given a pat on the back when you get things right and told off when you do stuff wrong. And all of this is very different to the world of a self-employed person, where you make the rules. Basically, you decide, or you get to decide what happens and how much you get paid and how well you're doing. And although this is a great thing, but it can be very scary and unknown and a bit uncomfortable at first, because when you're looking around for someone to tell you, if you've done the right thing or not, but that there isn't anyone, because you are that person. But you guys, this is a good thing, because it means that you are in control of your destiny, not someone else. And it can take a bit of getting used to. And I think that's possibly why so many people ask on Facebook groups, what do you think of this? Or what do you think I should do about that? And, it's because you are coming from this world of employment, or, you're perhaps not used to the world of self-employment yet, where you get to tell yourself, yes, that is good. That's what I wanted to achieve. I am proud of that design, or I handled that situation with a client well, etc., etc. So what can we do to help you make this leap, and what advice can I give? What can Auntie Vicky do for you? I would say, give yourself a set date for leaving, first of all. I think if you don't do that, if you don't at least sort of aim, that might be in a few months' time, or it might be in a year's time, whenever that is for you, just set a date. Is if you don't do that, I think you will just sort of delay it. You're not going to give yourself a target. You're not going to be able to say, right, let's aim for this. Let's have, I don't know, 10 weddings booked in for this time next year, or whatever that might be. And I think if you don't have that, you're just going to delay yourself and pootle along until such time as you see the figures look right on a spreadsheet, and there's going to be no sort of intention to it. It gives you a deadline to work towards, and I think a lot of us work better towards a deadline, don't we? I would then also use this time to build your online presence as well. So don't wait till you've actually sort of left your job and started your business. You can be building that right now. Build that up, capture the content, post on your social media, get more bookings, build up your website as well, because we cannot just rely on social media. Your website doesn't happen overnight. It's, if you put there today, start to pick, so times sort of roll out. It's just a strange one. It takes time, so you might as well start building that up right now. The third thing was, I would say, use this time to become used to and comfortable with selling to people and charging correctly. And, while you have the financial security to make the odd mistake here and there, and make the undercharge people by accident, or, because I don't think a lot of people feel comfortable with charging what they should immediately. I think, there is that thing of, I'm not very good yet, I'm just starting out. And that's not necessarily the case. You still need to be making that correct amount of money. Maybe some people don't even add the correct amount of markup or labor or anything like that. So use this time whilst you've still got this financial security of a wage coming in every month, to get used to charging correctly and that thing of selling to people, because that can often feel a bit icky at first, can't it, when you're trying to sort of sell your services to people. And that would also finally you can maybe even start putting some money aside to give you a bit of a buffer once you do leave as well. It doesn't have to be loads, just it might make you feel better if you've got something set aside to keep you going for a month or two, perhaps, while you're still building that up. So I hope this has helped you. I hope, if you're listening to this and you're in this position where you are working a part-time job or a full-time job even, and you're doing this on the side and you're really desperately trying to build your business up, do get in touch. Let me know. I would love to know if that's been really useful for you. I hope it has, and I wish you all the luck in the world. I am sure you will get there. But you have to put a bit of pressure on yourself, I think, to leave, and you have to you can't have both. I think, I don't think you can have this element of financial security of a job every month, as well as fulfilling your destiny as a wedding florist. You just can't fulfill your potential and grow that business as much as it should do if you're still working a job and still thinking as still thinking as an employed person. It's nice to have that security, isn't it? It's a lovely security blanket when you know what you're going to get paid every month, and you've got someone there to say, "Well done, Vicky," or whatever your name might be, and give you your workload every month, and you've got set working hours and all that sort of thing. It's much easier to plan your life around that, isn't it? It's as a self-employed person, it works very differently. So I wish you luck. I wish you well with your journey into wedding floristry. Do take advantage of my free Facebook groups and things like that. Follow me on Instagram. Join the free Facebook group. The link is in the description there. And I wish you well. Do let me know how you get on and if this has been useful. Well, thanks so much for listening all the way to the end of Wedding Florist Social. Remember to hit subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. And if you want access to some free community and support, then head across to Facebook and look me up on the Worldwide Wedding Florist Community Group. I look forward to seeing you there.